Ideas All Day, a podcast where we, not experts, discuss our ideas and then place them into piles, such as the good ideas pile, the ideas pile, and the bad ideas pile. Let's do some intros. Cuddling on a big ass bed, Ajax.
Yes.
A warm, bubbly tub with candles lit, Alex.
Tiny bubbles in my wine makes me happy. And hello.
And a deep tissue massage, me, Kate. Hi.
Hey there.
Hi there.
Well, since it's the holidays and we're all, holidaying it up, today's topic is self-care. What do you do for self-care?
Ajax, why don't you tell us what you do for self-care or your ideas for self-care?
Okay, my ideas for self-care are not necessarily based on the holidays, though, even though that's our topic. They're just all the time self-care things. Number one, I guess it's kind of called meditation, where you sort of just sit around and do nothing. You're laying down, letting your mind flow, focusing on your body, all the feelings that you get in there, and that's about it. Meditating and just being in your body. Staying still. Sometimes moving a little bit. Breathing a whole lot. You better be breathing. So, first one, meditation. Number two for self-care, something that I need, I don't know if everybody needs it, but I know I do, is I need to move. Like, I need to have some sort of mobile activity or else I am going to be a crouchy pants. And so before, some movement activities I've had in the past are doing plays and musicals. Being on stage is a wonderful way of pass the time. Playing football was another way I have incorporated movement into my life. And also dance has always been a fixture in my life because it's an easy form of moving that I can always resort to no matter who, what, where, and why. So moving, that is another idea of self-care. My third idea for self-care is something that when I realize that I am a little off or out of sorts, a lot of times I don't know what I'm doing. Planning for my next day, like planning what I'm going to be doing my next day, scheduling it out, having a game plan for the next day so I can just go bust out what I need to do that day and in a nice, efficient manner. And then I feel good at the end where you get a good day's work in that was planned out prior to. So planning out. That is one of my ideas. A fourth idea that I have, I think my goal in life is to do and learn everything. So this is learning something new. Yeah, learning a new skill. The new skills that I've been practicing right now are guitar and reading more. So those are the two skills that I've been picking up more recently. And I just really enjoy learning. And yeah, it feels good when you make different connections. Number 5 is hanging with friends. I really have enjoyed a part of my schedule, which has been hanging with, well, you guys, most and for all. We have been doing this podcast, and it's been quite lovely seeing you guys on a continual basis. And it's not just you, but also friends from Pole, friends from work, just, having friendly conversations and hanging with people is a good time. And also helping other people too. Like, I like just to be that other person. Hey, you want that moved? Well, we can move that right now. So let's just do it. So yeah, hanging and doing stuff together with people. And then my 6th one is listening to tunes. Because no matter what, like whenever I'm in a poopy mood, if I put on some tunes, it usually brightens up relatively quickly, and then I forget that I was in a poopy mood. So, tunes. That's my 6th idea for self-care. And those are my ideas.
All right, Ajax, let's go through your ideas. Your first idea I listed as lazy meditation. I do this. Like sometimes you just want to sit around and not do anything and like check out for a little while. So based on that, I have to put it in the good ideas pile because it's one of the ways I take care of myself.
Yes.
Idea number 2, moving about. So I was going to touch on this in my ideas. My big thing about self-care is you have to know what's good for you and what triggers your stressors, what helps you relax. Movement, going for a run, going to the gym, these things tend to be a way to de-stress for most people. So your idea about movement, your plays, your musicals, which I miss, I wish you would get back into, playing football, dance. If these things help you de-stress, then yeah, it's a great idea. Sometimes people who are super competitive, who go into these things, it could be a stressor. If you're playing football, like if you just get a few friends together and you're playing touch on the weekend, that could be fun. But if you're playing in a state championship and you worked really hard, it could be a stressor instead. So it's a good idea. I'll put in the good ideas pile, but I can see how, depending on who you are, something like this may not be a good idea for you. Planning your next day. As someone who deals with anxiety on a daily basis, this is one of the ways that I kind of deal with those stresses. For a hot second, I had a problem with being really anxious about the zombie apocalypse. Don't ask me why, but how I worked through that was I prepped and got things. And then it was like, okay, I have a plan in place. So if the undead were to rise from the dead, I knew what I was doing. And that helped me get through that anxiety. So yes, planning for your next day, scheduling ahead, knowing what you're doing in the future, I consider that a good idea for self-care. Learning something new, I'll put this in the good ideas pile. It's nice to take time and like learn something new. I love learning new little factoids. I learned the other day that the football huddle was first invented at a deaf college. I would have never thought that would be something that wasn't there forever in the game. It's just such a natural part of the game now. You never think that there was a time there was no huddle. So stuff like that always makes me happy. Hanging out with friends. Yeah, good idea. If you're hanging out with friends and those friends are not stressful, then this is a good idea. If you're hanging out with friends and there's drama, that can be stressful. If your friends are going through a difficult time, they can sometimes bring you down with them. And they always say, like in an emergency, put the oxygen mask over yourself before you help someone else. So if you're super stressed and you're going to someone who's also super stressed, that's not going to be a good situation for either of you. However, if your friend's stress-free, you're having a little bit of a time and you want to forget about your worries, yeah, this is a good idea. Friends are there for a reason. And listening to tunes, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile because I have a distinctive problem with, depending on what I'm listening to, it can change my mood. So if I'm listening to like pop music, I tend to be in a better mood. But if I'm listening to emo, I like emo. If I'm listening to emo music, I get a little down sometimes and it doesn't really help my situation, but I still love that music. So ideas. But yeah, that's my pilings.
All right. So Ajax, for your first idea of meditation, I think it's a great idea. Meditation, I don't do it as much as I wish I did nowadays, but it was a big, big help for me years ago when I was going through a really tough patch, and it was a big, big help. So I encourage anyone who struggles with anxiety, sometimes even depression, give it a try. And there's some different forms out there. You don't have to, go it alone. There's a lot of options and different routes for it. And I highly, highly just to give it a try and give it an honest try. You will love it. So I automatically put this in the good ideas pile. For your mobile activity, I take it was very hurtful of what you guys said that I would automatically put this in the bad ideas pile.
That was me.
I know, but Kate agreed.
I did.
And it was it was very hurtful. To automatically assume I would put it in the bad ideas pile. So I'm going to put this in the bad ideas pile because I don't move around much and I don't get any joy out of it.
Called it.
It doesn't mean it wasn't hurtful, okay? Just saying.
I mean, that hurt is just a little bit of self-help at you.
Exactly. Yeah, sure.
It's hurt through help.
I know a lot of people do get a lot of benefit. It does really help a lot of people's self-esteem. Not me. It doesn't. I just get tired and sweaty and just upset. So it's automatically going in my bad ideas pile. Back to being serious again.
Sure.
You're planning out the next day. I'm going to put this one in the ideas pile, although I am very much, in favor of planning it because it keeps you in control, especially as someone, you know exactly where you're going to be. You don't have too much variation, but at the same time, I don't know if it would help me. Sometimes some of the best things that can ever happen spontaneously.
Mm-hmm.
And allowing yourself a little wiggle room on things. It's not self-care. It's just kind of maintaining the status quo or trying to reattain some control that you're just going to lose the next time you can't plan a day. So I have to put in the ideas pile for that. It's not like it's a bad thing, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be helpful. It's just kind of a Band-Aid for a problem, in my personal opinion. For your next idea, the learning a new skill. Good ideas pile. This is something, even though a lot of times when I try and learn something, I stink at it. I can't tell you how many times I've tried new things and just screwed, like woodworking, doing like soldering, metal work, very small things, but just to try them. And, I still had a lot of fun with it. And that's why I still put in the good ideas pile. Even trying new things just to see if you'd like it. Even if you're bad at it, I would definitely say deserves a spot in the good ideas pile.
You.
On to your number 5, hanging with friends. This one's going to go in the bad ideas pile because I can't do that. This is the closest thing I have to hanging with friends. Everything else is I live alone and I go to work with people that I acquaintances with, but I'm not really friends with. So it's very depressing because I can't do it. So it's got to go in the bad ideas pile for me.
So you don't call this hanging with friends?
This is
like
so
I said,
sad.
This is the closest thing I've got, but it's like
This
it's not
is
the
what
same.
I consider as hanging with friends.
When it's not face to face, it's really not the same. It's still not as good as seeing people in person.
Yeah.
So on to the next one. Listening to tunes. I'm putting this in the good ideas pile. This is something I love to do. I usually, like when I'm working in the kitchen, whether it's cooking, cleaning, or whatever, or working on like a project in my office, I toss on some tunes, literally at random. Sometimes I don't even know who's going to be playing next, and I absolutely love that. Sometimes it puts me in a good mood, sometimes I don't like it. But you know what? Sometimes I find some new things and really just start bopping away at whatever it might be.
Yeah, that means you move sometimes if you're bopping.
Yeah, because I'm usually having to do physical activity of chores which I don't enjoy. So this alleviates some of the joy, the searing hatred and pain that I feel while moving. It alleviates some of it. So that's why this goes in the good ideas pile.
Alex, can you hit us with your ideas?
So for my first idea, one thing I would we all sometimes need going through these holidays and need a little time to a little pick me up. One thing I'd always suggest to kind of give yourself a little bit of comfort is some good old chicken and waffles. I mean, you can't beat a good plate of chicken and waffles. And if anyone has never tried it because it seems weird, it doesn't make sense if you've never had it. And don't get like chicken tenders that are frozen and do that. Fried chicken on top of waffles. It's amazing. It's comforting. And every time I have it, makes me feel better, if not a little bit bloated. For my second idea would be a back massager. Because everyone likes a massage, but sometimes people don't like going to a massage parlor because, dealing with other people sometimes. So having a nice back massager. After a tough day, you could just slap that on your back, little vibration, and just relax your muscles and you feel a little bit better. For my third idea, it's another thing that's, sometimes when you want something comforting. And this is a mix of two different things. One, who doesn't love a good bubble bath? We kind of touched on the intro, but who doesn't like a good bubble bath with some candles, maybe a little music in the background just to relax and enjoy. But what's the second thing people love universally across at least the US? Mac and cheese. So what if we combine them into a bath of mac and cheese? Whether your craft is your preference, or if you have the baked version, but a tub full of mac and cheese you slip yourself into, and it's just warm and comforting all around your body. I mean, who wouldn't love that? And then, and if you just bring a spoon with you, you're in heaven. For my next idea, kind of touches on one of the ideas that Ajax had, was on meditation, but again, I highly encourage someone, Bennett, but for someone who's never done meditation, I would suggest guided meditation. And who better to do your guided meditation than the man, the myth, the legend, Morgan Freeman? I mean, who wouldn't want Morgan Freeman, guiding them through a half-hour meditation session to give the full sensation, full ride? And if all fails, even if you don't get the relaxation out of it, you still get to listen to a half an hour's worth of Morgan Freeman. And if Morgan Freeman isn't available, we'll get Dennis Haysbert. He also knows the also got you'll know him when you see his name and see his face, but he's got an amazing voice, soothing voice, and he can guide me through any meditation he wants to. For my fifth idea, touching a little bit on the bathtub of mac and cheese, but who doesn't love the foot bath, but they also have the massagers in it. But why don't we step it up a notch and put in, instead of water, a little bit of hot cocoa? Because again, it's warm, it's creamy, it's soothing, and chocolate, as the studies say, is good for you. So who doesn't love something that's both good for you and help for yourself, calm you down and comfort you? And, before you put your feet in, just grab a cup and scoop it out, and you're good to go. You've got both a comforting drink and a nice warm foot bath with massages. My last idea is to take a time, during this crazy holiday season, buy yourself a gift. Go out to the store, buy yourself something that you want, that you're not necessarily asking anybody for, but something just to treat yourself. Because as we all know, it helps distract you from the ever-present loneliness that being constantly by yourself, where no one else is going to buy you any gifts, is really going to take hold. And your crushing depression finally brings you down in the end. But buying that extra gift just helps you hang on and persevere just an extra little bit. And those are my ideas.
So your first idea, chicken and waffles. I put this in the good ideas pile because even though I've never had it, I think fried chicken is delicious no matter what, and I will eat fried chicken no matter what it is with. So,
Okay.
Good idea. A back massager, a universal only back massager. I mean, it's an idea. So I'll put that in the ideas pile.
Okay. I can
Okay.
accept that.
Good. Bubble bath full of macaroni and cheese.
You're fighting with it. That's the worst. The best part about this, you're not sure.
She's really debating this one.
It's like you're considering it.
Well, I mean, because I've never been in a bathtub of macaroni and cheese, so I can't knock it yet. So at least it's gonna be in an ideas pile.
I mean, if you could imagine it, it's there. The question is, would you try it?
I just
would
don't
you
know if I want to if it doesn't get all eaten, you have to have a party to eat all the mac and cheese, and that's a whole bunch of wasted food. So if you can find a way to have all the food to be eaten, then it won't be mac and cheese going to waste, because I don't think I could eat a bathtub full of mac and cheese by myself. My boyfriend, he also can eat a lot, but I don't think he could eat a whole bunch of mac and cheese in the bathtub. So unless there is some way to, he says he can, I don't think he can. He'd fall asleep before he ate it all.
You could always donate extra to the homeless.
Well, as long as there's a way out, it's just going in the ideas pile for now.
Yeah, fair enough. I accept that.
Okay. Guided meditation. So your fourth idea. I who doesn't love Morgan Freeman? I'm sure he's very busy. He has to use his voice in everything. So that would be a monster feat if you could get him to guide your meditation. I was kind of disappointed when I heard this because I was hoping Matt Damon would be doing the guided meditation. And
I can definitely understand where that could come up, but I still feel that as much as I love Matt Damon, I should always take my feelings out of it and always pick the best man for the job. I think in this situation, again, just in this situation, when a voice is the focal point, I have to go with those two guys.
okay, well, this is a good idea because I like guided meditations because they just tell you what to do and you don't have to do anything at all. If those guys are not available, Edward Snowden, he is also got a lovely voice as well, so he can be on the list of meditators.
I suppose, but he's a little bit controversial. So this is for the holidays, but I'm sure there's definitely a market out there.
Got a lovely voice.
It's an edgier guided meditation.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So your fifth idea, the foot bath of hot cocoa. I just went automatically bad idea. I don't like sticky feet.
Well, it could use sugar-free.
No, but that's disgusting.
Well, then you don't have to drink it. It's just to give that warm, soothing
Why
feeling.
would I not want to drink the hot cocoa? You said I can drink it before I
Of
put my
course you
feet
can.
in. But I would want to drink a drinkable one, not sugar-free.
Well, then you need to start making some sacrifices. Either you got sticky feet or you got hot cocoa. Or you don't have hot cocoa.
I don't want sticky feet. It's a bad idea.
Fine.
And your sixth idea, gifts, treat yourself. I'll put it in the good idea pile because I'm going to be looking for a video game thing to treat ourselves here. And also, I bought some shoes recently. So I treated myself to some shoes. So good idea.
Let me do my rundown of pilings. Your first idea of chicken and waffles. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile. And the reason I'm going to put this in the ideas pile is I do love chicken and waffles. But my problem is, after I'm done eating chicken and waffles, I feel like absolute crap. To use it as a self-care, if I'm doing something that's going to make me feel like not great afterwards, I don't really consider that self-care. So, ideas pile. Because I like the beginning part, like the beginning of it is great. Like I'm eating the chicken waffles, it's delicious going down, but then the end result is I feel bloated and fat and don't want to move. So, ideas pile. Back massager, I'm going to put this in the ideas pile because I think getting an actual massage, like an actual masseuse, is so much better than those electric chair things that you use. My dad had one forever and used it like 3 times. But like getting an actual massage from somebody, having someone's hands actually on you, getting into those knots and making it feel like a big old puddle, that's where my self-care is at. That's the level of self-care I want. Those chair covers aren't really doing it for me. So it's an idea. Mac and cheese bath. Straight into the bad ideas pile. Because one, I'm going into a tub full of mac and cheese. It's a waste of food because I am not going to eat like mac and cheese that has touched my body. And I am not going to give that mac and cheese to a homeless person after it's touched my body. And I can only imagine it getting into every orifice and having to deal with mac and cheese residue for weeks later. So
what are you talking about? You get to find mac and cheese later. I mean, how's that bad?
Pile. This is pretty bad. This is like electric shock collar bad. Like it's in the bad ideas pile. On to guided meditation. This I like this idea. This is a good ideas pile. Morgan Freeman has a great voice, but I think Ajax has a point. I don't know if you're going to be able to get him to do. I mean, he may, like towards the end of his career when he's like hurting for jobs and shit. But I know so many people personally that like I work with that have voices that I could listen to. Like they could read tax code and I would just be relaxed by their voices. So yeah, definitely great idea. Good ideas pile. Foot massager, hot cocoa bath. Your idea as it stands, I'm going to put in the bad ideas pile because that is just a waste of hot cocoa. And God only knows what kind of nail fungus diseases I'll get from sinking my feet into hot cocoa. But to make your idea better, instead of using hot cocoa, you could use essential oils. So your feet aren't sticky and you can have this wonderful smell of cocoa because there are cocoa essential oils. So if you were to do that, I would put it more towards the good ideas pile.
Okay.
But whatever your fascination is with food and bathing, I don't know what kind of kink that is that you're really into this week.
No.
But that's all on you. I don't think that's a universal, like, agreed upon thing that people want to do with themselves in food and beverages.
All I'm saying is your alteration to my idea, although I respect it, I think you are entitled to your opinion. It's just that you're wrong. And the fact that you're bastardizing this wonderful idea that I created to share with the world, it is hurtful. Again, this is the second time in this podcast you've hurt me, and I'm not going to change your mind because that would be wrong. But I just want to express my feelings of hurtfulness that you've pressed upon me with your alteration, and that you're wrong. How dare you?
You're being very, very sensitive. But on to idea number 6 of yours, buying yourself a gift. There's people out there that don't like having things, that they don't have knickknacks, they don't have trinkets, they don't have stuff. They're not stuff people. I am not one of those people. I love stuff. I love having stuff. I love filling my place up with a bunch of useless stuff. So buying myself something, yes, I do a lot of retail therapy and it is enjoyable. And I would put that as self-care. So yes, I will put this as a good idea. So there, you got a good idea.
Technically, you gave me 2 good ideas. So there.
Enjoy. I should probably do my self-care ideas. So my first idea for self-care, I find myself like at night, there's stuff that needs to be done. I'm trying to think ahead for the next day. I'm planning, I'm plotting, I'm watching TV, I'm looking at YouTube videos. And then the next thing I know, it's midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Then I have work the next day. I wake up tired, run down, and then the cycle repeats itself. So one of the things that I like to do when I start feeling a little worn down, a little dismal, is really trying to focus on going to sleep at a reasonable time, getting a good 8 hours, 7 hours of rest. So my first idea is basically just sleeping more. I tend to forget, like I let go of time. I'm busy doing stuff. If I really focus on like, okay, tonight I'm going to go to bed at 10, get a good night's sleep, it kind of restarts good habit process. So if I sleep well and I wake up refreshed, I'm more likely to make my own coffee in the morning and make my own breakfast instead of going through drive-through. And then I'm feeling better in the morning at work because I'm eating something healthy and not something super processed and sugary. And so sleeping is my first idea for self-care. My next idea is, once again, I get super busy and I put things aside. And one of the things I put aside is cleaning. There are weeks where, I have a few dishes still out that aren't in the sink, or I have a pile of dishes in the sink. There's stuff in the living room that should be in the bedroom, stuff in the bedroom that should be in the study, stuff in the study that should be in the bathroom, like a whole hot mess. And I find that if my living space is cluttered and is disorganized, I tend to follow the same mindset. I'm become disorganized, my mind becomes cluttered. So I like to, set time aside and actually do like a deep cleaning. And I find that if I put on some tunes and I listen to some music. I can get through the cleaning pretty easily. And once I'm done, then I feel accomplished. I feel like I've done something, and I kind of, once again, feel refreshed. I feel like I could take on the world again. So, cleaning. Idea number 3. Spending time with people you enjoy spending time with. Thanks for stealing my idea, Ajax. And Ajax is a good example of this. She is one of the few people that when I hang out with her, it's very calm. I'm usually like very calculated, like we have to do this at this time, I have to do this. I'm very like anxious about shit. When I'm with Ajax, when I hang out with her, it's like the plan is we're hanging out and whatever happens, happens.
Mostly naps.
Mostly naps because we watch Ryan Reynolds movies and he tires us out with his sexiness. So yeah, sorry Blake Lively, we're objectifying your husband, but he's a very good-looking man. And Ajax is also one of the few people who can calm me down during my brood rage. So, congratulations. So, spending time with friends. Another one of my ideas is exercising. Now, there are things known as like a runner's high or getting like a pump, which is very enjoyable to experience. With the runner's high, it really depends on your level of running. I never really had a runner's high until after I finished a half marathon. And it was just like you couldn't take the smile off my face. I was just in one of those good moods where it was just really hard to like bring me down. So running long distances helps me, but sometimes that's not easily done just simply because I don't have all that time to run 13.1 miles. The gym is a good alternative. Lifting weights tends to get me in a really good mood, especially if I'm doing calf raises, especially if there's someone who's in front of me doing calf raises and can't lift as much as I can on my calf raise. So that's a huge self-esteem boost. So going to the exercise, getting sweaty, releasing those endorphins, I enjoy it, and I think it's really good self-care. If you're doing good things for yourself, you tend to feel better about yourself. So, exercise. Treat yourself to a meal, and a good food meal, not like a junk food meal. Ajax mentioned before about like polishing off seafood dinners. I really enjoy like lobster, scallops, shrimp, crabs, and these are all kind of expensive seafood meals. If I'm having like a bad week, or if I want to motivate myself to do something, I'll use that meal as motivation or as a way to pep me up. And I will go like all hog out. Like I will get twin lobster tails. I will get a side order of scallops. I will get bunches of crab legs. But it's not bad for you. Like seafood's not bad for you. You're not eating it every day. I'm not buying a pint of, ice cream and sitting and polishing that off in one sitting. I'm trying to reward myself and treat myself to good food. Treating yourself to a good meal, another self-care idea. And the last thing I have is doing something that you're good at, that you feel accomplished with, that you may be able to help someone else out. Not to bring Ajax back into this, but Ajax a couple years ago moved out of her parents' house into her first independent living situation. And she didn't have sheets, she didn't have kitchen stuff, she didn't have pillows, she didn't have shit like that. And I love shopping. Shopping is something I really like doing. I like finding good deals. I like finding all the sale prices. I love using double coupons and discounts and free shipping, all that fun stuff. So I'm really good at that kind of shit. Ajax hates shopping. She does not like it. So for me, it was like a win-win situation. I was getting her stuff, which I love doing. I love buying stuff. I was buying her stuff at a huge discount. So she was able to have things that she needed without having to do the shopping that I love to do and bargain hunting. So you're doing something you like, and you're helping out a friend. So yeah, those were my ideas.
All right. Now, okay, I'm going to go first in rating your quote-unquote ideas, starting with your idea to sleep more. This is a really good idea. Sleep is really important, and in today's society, we don't get enough. And more sleep, not oversleeping, but getting like the recommended at least 8 hours a day can not only improve your mood, make you more productive, and just be generally healthier. And it's something we don't do enough in our society. So getting more sleep and even oversleeping a little bit to recover some of your sleep debt, which is a thing, where it's a good thing. So that's going to be a good idea for me. On to your cleaning more. I'm going to put this in the ideas pile, but leaning towards good. Because I like the idea of having a feeling of accomplishment. When I clean my house, do the dishes, that's exactly how I feel afterwards. So, having something that's relatively easy to do, but you don't need to be highly skilled at it because you know what you need to do. But having that feeling of accomplishment is great afterwards. But it's still cleaning, so it can't be a good idea for me. If I want to live in a pile of mess everywhere, I should have I might like that. So that's why I can't go into the good ideas pile for me. Your third idea, spending time with friends. Now, we had a similar idea from Ajax, and as you know, it goes in the bad ideas pile, but I'm going to put yours in the bad idea for a different reason. Specifically because when you said that Ajax helps calm you down, I want you to be angry as possible all the time. So even though it's a self-care episode, having you angry just makes me feel better. And isn't that what about self-care is all about? Making me feel better? Because it's my self-care.
To be fair, during this podcast, no one pisses me off more than you do. So congratulations. You do accomplish that task.
Guys. True.
And you just know every button to push. So congratulations. You do a good job of getting me angry. And luckily Ajax is here to calm me down. So I don't just throw my computer across the room and curse you out.
That's self-care too, though.
That's self-care
It's
too,
exactly. Yeah, it is. It's self-care.
It's cathartic.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad we covered this, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're going to start with the next idea, your exercising idea. Now, again, this is something that you stole from Ajax. It's going to go, and I'm going to give the same grade because it's a bad idea. Too much movement doesn't make me feel good. But that's not the reason I'm going to give you the bad idea one either. It's because when you brought up one segment of it, when you got your first runner's high.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've experienced the runner's high, and I hated it because getting high is wrong. It's not good. You're being a bad influence on the younger generation. And all you get left with afterwards, after you come down from your high, is that feeling of wanting it again. How is that self-care? You tell me that. It's not self-care. That's what it is. It's just you running after every single new high every single time. Just running in circles, just chasing it over and over, chasing the dragon. You can't live like that. You've got to learn to live without getting high. So that's why exercising is going to go in the bad ideas pile.
I'm going to say something. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of exactly like that, because once you get your runner's high at a certain mileage, it's not guaranteed you'll get that runner's high at every mileage every time you do it. So the first time I got a runner's high was a half marathon. The next time I got a runner's high was when I did a full marathon. But I did 13 milers, I did 15 milers, I did 20 milers, and didn't have a runner's high. It wasn't until I went to the 26.2 that I got a runner's high again. So yeah, it's kind of like that, but not in a detrimental way. And that running's not horrible for you. So if we're going to chase a dragon, a running dragon's a fun one to chase, gets you sort of healthy. But yeah, it is kind of like that though.
I've known people. I remember someone I used to know from an old job of mine, and she was unequivocally addicted. And I'm saying this with that specific word, addicted to exercising. Mm-hmm. I never saw her outside of, even when I was at work, because she was actually a customer, but not in gym wear of some description, because she would go to the gym for 3 hours a day after work. 3 hours a day of exercising, which to me, yes, you're 100% right. It's good for you. And I do, as much as I shit on it a lot on the recording, it is good for you, and I encourage people to do it. It's just that when you get to that point, when you're deciding whether going to the gym is more important than making sure your family's okay, that's when I'm going with there is always a limit to how much you should be doing anything. People will always say, they explain it in a way as, well, it's good for you. It's like, but then if other things start to suffer, is it really good for you?
Yeah, everything in
Yes, it's good for your health. Exactly. Everything in moderation for that.
Yeah, every day, 3 hours.
I used to go to the sauna. That was
Yeah, but
I
we're
love
talking
the
about
sauna.
exercising for 3 hours.
That's self-care.
No, but like
right
after the exercising a lot, then going into the sauna. Yeah,
I used to go in the sauna and stretch, and that was wonderful. If you want to talk about self-care, that is some self-care. Stretching in the hot sauna after a good 3-hour workout that you do daily. But yeah, no, that's a bit much. But each their own.
Yeah.
If you're going to be addicted to exercising,
If you're going to be addicted to something,
to crack,
exercise
it's
is
better
still
off
better.
to be. Yeah, some people just have addictive personalities.
Yes.
So,
or you just, addiction is really when you start getting those dopamine reactions. Whatever causes it, you're going to keep running after it. Problem is, you don't always get it unless you keep pushing and pushing more and more until you stop yourself or take it into a place you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
And that's
or
the
you
issue.
go through withdrawal.
Exactly. And you can go through withdrawals on things.
Yeah.
Even if they aren't physically.
Try cutting out caffeine from your diet or sugar from your diet. You will feel like absolute shit.
How dare you talk about caffeine like that?
The withdrawal from caffeine and sugar is awful. Like, awful. I tried it once and I couldn't get through the withdrawal. It was giving me the worst migraines I've ever had, and I've had some
heard that
migraines.
Before.
Yeah, no, it is awful. But like I said, everything in moderation. So, but yeah, you said my idea for exercising was a bad idea.
Yes, of course, because getting high is wrong.
Okay.
All right. So on to your fifth idea, treating yourself to a meal where you're really going, I believe, as you put it, whole hog is the word you used. Am I correct in saying that?
For seafood, yes. I can put away seafood like nobody's business.
Yes. I that's great. That's great. I'm going to put this in the good ideas pile with an asterisk. Because, again, when you're treating yourself to a meal that makes you feel good, that you just are really, it's something you may only do once in a while, and then you shit on my chicken and waffles idea specifically, how dare you? How dare you do that? I was offended. I mean, I've been very offended this episode. I can't even deny that. But I mean, that's like taking my idea, shitting on it, then wiping the shit off of the idea, propping it up on a pedestal and going, here, try it again.
I can explain this. So when I eat seafood, when I'm done, like whole hog eating seafood, like go to a seafood all-you-can-eat buffet, I can eat so much seafood. But when I'm done eating seafood, I don't feel bloated. I don't feel sick. I don't feel disgusting. When I have one chicken and waffle, like a whole waffle, maybe 2 pieces of chicken, I am so stuffed. I am so bloated, and I just don't feel good. So that's where the difference is. If you personally, when you eat chicken waffles, feel great afterwards, then yeah, treat yourself. But for me, chicken waffles isn't a self-care thing. It's delicious. I love it. If you haven't had it, I fully endorse trying it and getting it because it is delicious going down. But it's waffles. It's chicken. It's going to sit like a rock. Seafood's a lighter food. It's not as heavy. And if you're not big into cocktail sauce, if you're not big into butter, which I'm not really, like I like some butter, but I can eat lobster by itself. I can eat shrimp by itself, crabs. I just like the actual taste of seafood. So that's where my differences lie. And that's why your idea I put into the ideas pile. And this is why I like my idea of a seafood dinner compared to chicken and waffles.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're using your example for your own self as the seafood dinner.
Yes.
But again, I'm putting in the good ideas pile with the asterisks of that you shit on my idea for the almost exact same thing.
I just like
almost.
I like shitting on your ideas. It's fun.
Yeah, you would. And you've gotten 3 good ideas from me so far. I just want you to note that.
That's
and you've only given
surprising.
me 2, and I still have one more thing to go.
Oh,
so I'm
shit.
just saying, for all those haters out there that say I give you a hard time,
all those
keep that in mind.
comments, all those emails we get about how like, oh, why is Alex so mean to Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be the other way around here.
Uh-huh.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and to your last one. To do something and helpful to another person that you with a skill that you have mastery in. I mean, how dare you? How could you do this and be helpful to other people? How could you?
I know. I'm sorry.
Yes.
How?
So I'm gonna put this in the good ideas pile, reluctantly, because I still can't believe you would go out and help people. It's just it just even thinking about it leaves me with a bad taste in my mouth, and I can't even believe I'm giving you the good pile rating. It's just
I
can't
understand.
deal with it.
I understand your outlook just simply because I don't think I've ever helped you with anything.
And that's
Well,
okay.
if I didn't
Do you need help with something?
It's honestly, if that's okay. If I didn't need the help, then there's no reason for you to help.
If you need assistance, let me know.
Yeah. But still, just to cut it short, good idea for helping people.
Well, thank you for your pilings. I do appreciate them.
Oh, you're very welcome. Always happy to help.
Thanks.
Good job. Okay, so it's my pilings.
Yes.
All right, so Kate, your first idea, going to sleep at a reasonable time. I think that's a good idea. You should go to sleep. You should get your sleeps on. Sleepity sleep, sleep, sleep. Get your Z's. Feel good the next day. Not too zonky. I say that's good self-care. I didn't know anything about that sleep debt that you mentioned, Alex. What is that?
So basically, if you don't get enough sleep over a long period of time, your body essentially accumulates, it's a sleep debt. You owe your body sleep. That's why sometimes if you don't sleep very well, or you only sleep like 5 or 6 hours a night, all of a sudden on the weekend you sleep for 12 hours in a row, that would be your body kind of taking back and paying back the sleep debt. Now, The problem is a lot of people still don't do that. So you could have years worth of sleep debt that just accumulates over time. It's not like a real debt where your body's tallying it up, but it has an effect on your body, on your mentality, and everything. So getting getting a little bit of extra sleep, or getting the sleep you actually should be getting, can help alleviate that. That's what that's referring to. It's more of a conceptual thing, that the effect the lack of sleep is getting, the recovery kind of brings you back to normal.
Okay, well, that's good. So then you should cancel out that sleep debt. Sounds like no fun. So sleep, good idea pile. Cleaning. I also enjoy a clean place of living, and I like having everything put in its place. Like everything needs a little home in the house. And it's usually the first thing I do when I'm like, all right, not doing anything right now. I go to cleaning. And I don't know if that is an addiction or if it's self-care, but I think it's,
Do you feel
nice.
better after you do it?
Yes.
Okay. When you don't do it, do you like stress out over it?
Sometimes.
Okay. So I would say it's self-care.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's a good idea. I put up a good ideas pile.
Sweet.
Spending time with people. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. I like spending time with you guys, even if it is on the internet and I see like only Kate's face and I hear Alex's voice. Gosh.
It's a nice voice to listen to, though.
I mean, it's just like Morgan Freeman's. But yeah, so good idea for spending time with people. Exercising. I agree with you. I like exercising too. I like moving. And I know how much you really like to be getting out your competitive side, especially with those calf raise machines. So that's a good idea because
calves should be raised naturally with their mothers. I'm against calf raising by machines or veal, all those things. The calf should be with its mother.
My calves are with its mother. I am its mother, and I shall raise them.
Competitively.
Competitively.
But you're using a machine. That's why it's wrong.
I like it. I like fighting against the machines using my calves.
Rage against them.
I rage against the machines.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, of course, good ideas pile because exercising. Treating yourself to good food meal. Why not? Do it. Eat the foods. And also, it gives you a little thing to look forward to as well, especially if you got. And then a lot of times I haven't been finding things to look forward to. So if you make something to look forward to, such as a good food, you're just pretty much involving yourself as a treat. So that's a good idea. I like it. And then doing something you're good at to help somebody else. And yeah, so thank you for shopping for me. That was a good idea because shopping sucks. You got the good ideas for me today.
Was there any? That was all good ideas, right?
Yeah.
Holy shnikes, that never happened.
'Tis the season.
'Tis the season. And this is like the season from like November to God, March is like
Oh my gosh.
the worst.
I feel like it's been Christmas before this season and I am over it.
The holidays are hard just because one, it's super dark. Where we are, it gets super cold. So we have less vitamin D because there's less sunshine. You know, we have to deal with the cold. And then there's all these self-imposed stressors. Like we have to find the perfect gifts. We have to go to the family functions. And then throwing COVID, now it's like, all right, now how are we not going to the family function, but still being at the family function? How do we still connect but not connect? It's really important to take care of yourself because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't help anyone else. Find what makes you happy and do it.
Do it.
Well, in appropriate senses. I mean, don't be eating mac and cheese out of a tub. That's not sanitary.
Unless you have plans for all that mac and cheese. Don't waste all that mac and cheese.
Or clean out the tub, put your mac and cheese, eat as much mac and cheese as you can, and then maybe bathe in it. I mean, that's up to you.
The
But
options are endless. But if you end up bathing in a tub of mac and cheese, please send us a picture.
Yeah, we have an Instagram
Just
now.
tell us about it.
To
We
our
do-
Instagram account.
Yeah, it's at Ideas All Day Podcast. So yeah, if you do a mac and cheese bath, please send us a photo of that.
Yeah, or the hot cocoa one. That would be a good photo op as well.
Or the chicken and waffles.
Yeah,
We
if you
want to
like
see your chicken waffles.
Yes,
See,
please send us pictures of chicken and waffles.
Here's my question to chicken and waffle enthusiasts. Do you like, one, your chicken and waffles boneless or with the bone?
Good question.
And two, do you do syrup, barbecue sauce, or barbecue sauce and syrup?
Or here's a fourth choice, a spicy maple syrup sauce or like a hot maple syrup. And I know it sounds gross, but
It sounds fancy.
I've taken Kate to before in the past has something like that, and it is wonderful. It sounds weird, but it is really good. It's not overly spicy. It's mostly sweet, but it's still got a tang or hit to it. But again,
sounds interesting.
I have my feelings on the sauces and the bone in, bone out thing, but I would love to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
And if you have something that you do that we didn't mention, please let us know with your chicken and waffles or for your self-care. If there's some kind of self-care that you do that you think is wonderful and think would benefit other people, especially us weirdos, let us know. Email us at ideasalldaypodcast@gmail.com.
We'll try it.
If you put marshmallows in your hot cocoa foot bath, let us know.
That's definitely an Instagrammable situation I would like to see.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to us, and we hope that you had a fantastic holiday season.
Yes, thank you everyone for listening. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season with you, your family, especially during these trying times. And be sure, just again, take care of yourselves. These are very stressful times, and it has been since almost the beginning of 2020. So remember to take some time to treat yourself and stay happy and stay healthy.
And one of those ways you can do that is by liking, subscribing, and sharing our podcast with your friends and family. You can listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Anchor, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. You have a podcast platform and you can't find us, let us know. We would love to add ourselves to those platforms. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Take care.